Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty 360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. Want to welcome you back to another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we speak with brand leaders about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer channel and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Jessica Kearney, who's Assistant Vice President of Public Policy at Travelers, and Laura Richardson, Vice President of Customer Success at Cambridge Mobile Telematics. How are both of you today?
Doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. First off, we love to start these on a more personal level, get to know the individuals we're speaking with, what they like, what they do, kind of their history in their work history. So we'd love to start that with both of you. So Jessica, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, all that you do at Travelers, and maybe a fun fact or a passion you have?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, again, Mark, thank you for having us. And this will be my first time at the Loyalty 360 conference this year in Orlando. So we're really excited to be joining everyone on site for a great few days. And I'll be representing the Travelers Institute. And I have the great honor of working for this organization, which is the public policy division and educational arm of the larger Travelers Insurance Company. And our team has a really exciting and meaningful goal, which is to take on public policy issues that impact our customers, our business partners, and the broader communities that we do business with, to drive really constructive conversations that leverage Travelers' deep risk management expertise. So, some examples, we work on issues like hurricane preparedness, the future of insuring autonomous vehicles, enhancing cybersecurity. So all these issues that really intersect with our industry and insurance. And we get to partner with our senior business leaders across the company to identify what these issues are and how we can bring them to light, and how Travelers can bring a meaningful perspective to the table on behalf of all the folks that we work with. And just a fun fact about me, I went to grad school at the University of Connecticut, so I'm pretty happy right now. Our men's basketball team just, of course, won the NCAA tournament, so I'm thrilled, and go Huskies.
No, great. Laura, how about you?
Yeah. So thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk with you today and to partner with Travelers on this, on the programs that we work with together. So I work at Cambridge Mobile Telematics. We're a technology company in the Boston area. We are the largest telematics service provider, which basically means that we connect customers with how they drive and their vehicles. We let them know when they're in an accident, and we teach them how they can become better drivers on the road. We work with the largest auto insurers, automakers, and rideshare companies in the world, and our mission is to make the world's roads and drivers safer. At CMT, I lead our customer success organization. So my team is responsible for working with our partners and our customers to make sure that they can use data more effectively, and they can use our technology to help launch new programs and initiatives that help make driving safer. And a fun fact about me, I actually have lived in 5 different countries. I grew up in Latin America. I actually learned to drive in Mexico City. I really love exploring different parts of the world.
Okay, great. Jessica, can you give us a short history of Travelers?
Yeah, absolutely. So Travelers is a property casualty insurance company. So what that means is that we help our customers insure everything that matters to them. So everything from their homes and their cars to their valuables, and even to their businesses as well. At Travelers, I have 30,000 colleagues, and we work in partnership with a network of over 13,000 independent insurance agents and brokers all across the US, as well as Canada, the UK, and Ireland. And we've been around for more than 165 years. So we have a really deep breadth of experience and risk management to leverage, and a really deep history behind our name. Our brand, as you can probably see in my background, is recognized by really our iconic red umbrella. And I'd say within the industry, we're really known for our thoughtful risk selection, as well as our underwriting, which has really been critical to our business success for many decades, and it's the bedrock of our business.
Okay. Laura, since CMT is so focused on road safety, it's always great to get a perspective of kind of the larger industry. So can you just share us a kind of a state of affairs of what's going on with road safety in the US?
Yeah. Let me give you just a little history of how, like, where CMT came from, because I think it will lead into how our technology and how we collect all the data that we're looking at today. So MIT was actually founded by two MIT professors in 2004. So we're extremely new compared to the legacy of Travelers. In 2004, they started the Cartel Project, which was looking at how you can use new mobile sensing technology to collect new data and then what to do with that data. So really, basically, they were looking at how you could collect data from cell phones in new innovative ways. And so what they did was they actually put mobile phones in the back of taxi cabs driving around Boston, and then they were able to identify where their potholes were. And so from that kind of beginning, fast forward a few years, and in 2010, CMT was founded. And today we work with 21 out of the top 25 auto insurers in the world who insure over 80% of the drivers in the US. And we work with 95 different programs across 25 different countries. And we've helped over 25 million drivers learn about their driving behavior and how to get safer on the road. And so knowing that we have all of that data and we have this technology, because 85% of the American population drives around with a phone in their car, like, we have an amazing amount of data and statistics to understand that we are in the middle of a road safety crisis. So I'm relatively new to the CMT family, and as I've learned about all of the data and about kind of what's going on American roads today, I've just been flabbergasted. So in 2021, we looked at the data, and pedestrian fatalities are the highest that they've been in 4 decades. But when you look more closely at the data, you would look to see that pedestrian fatalities were actually declining year over year until 2007. So what happened in 2007? Mark, do you know? Do you know what happened in 2007?
I would say probably when the iPhone was announced.
That's right. Apple introduced the iPhone. And every year since then, smartphone adoption has increased. And at CMT, we like to say that your cell phone, I have an iPhone, and we define a trip as your commute into the office, taking your kids to school, going to the grocery store. And we know that on over half of them, people are tapping on their phone. And so they're interacting and distracted by their phone. And that tapping behavior can be anything from, dialing a phone number, texting, playing games, whatever. And for every hour that Americans spend on the road, 2 minutes and 12 seconds of it is actually distracted. And what's even more alarming, out of all of that distraction data that we collect, 34% of it happens when you're driving faster than 50 miles an hour. So another way of thinking about this data, and really to put it into context, is that on average, when you are driving and you read a text, you drive the length of an American football field blindfolded. And so as you think about that, the implications are that for 34% of all crashes, someone was looking at their phone the minute before that crash happened. And our most distracted drivers are 270 times more likely to get into a crash than our least distracted drivers. And so all of this, like, I think you all drive, you see it happening all the time. And I think people understand that it's really, really dangerous. But this is an economic and a social problem that we all have to pay attention to. And hands-free legislation is working through state and local governments today. But I have to really applaud the auto insurance industry, because they've been a major group really supporting and driving groups to concentrate on distracted driving. They're spending billions of dollars every year incentivizing drivers to improve their behaviors. Travelers is one of our partners and someone we believe is really leading much of the important work with their Every Second Matters campaign and their telematics product, IntelliDrive.
Okay. Well, that's a great segue. So Jessica, how did the Every Second Matters campaign come into being? And what is the mission, the goal of the campaign?
Yeah, absolutely. So Every Second Matters is a campaign that we started back in 2017. As we like to say, every second matters when you're behind the wheel in terms of focusing on the main task at hand, which is driving. And I think Laura really laid the foundation with some of those really startling and upsetting statistics around distraction. And so Travelers, as a company, has been talking about distracted driving for many, many years. But in 2017, we really decided to double down with this Every Second Matters campaign. And the point was really to go all around. We've been all around the US and all around Canada, educating different student groups, university groups, business associations, communities, you name it, about not only the risks of distracted driving, but also, some of the potential solutions. So we really, in partnership with our business partners, our agents and brokers, we've really teamed up to, start this national conversation and start this dialogue. So as you can imagine, and you got a glimpse of this with what Laura said, as an auto insurer, Travelers just has a tremendous line of sight into the data and through our partnerships with CMT. About auto safety trends, collision data, claim data. So we really feel like we have a unique view, and we have, with leadership comes responsibility, right? Like we have a voice to lend to this discussion, and we're committed to being at the table to do that. So the Travelers Institute, we've partnered with leaders across our personal insurance business to provide our customers really with a range of world-class tech-driven insurance products. And then we're pairing that with meaningful educational experiences, not only for our customers, our agents and brokers, and broader communities, as I mentioned. So if you're a Travelers auto insurance customer, you have the opportunity to opt in to our telematics offering, which is IntelliDrive and IntelliDrive Plus, which run on the technology platform that Laura described from CMT, which is really just world-class. And you have the opportunity to monitor your own driving performance through a smartphone app. And the beautiful thing about this is it's personal feedback, personal feedback to you, like something we get in our cars. We know distracted driving is bad. We know hard braking and speeding, all these things are bad. But, have you ever really held the mirror up to yourself and been able to, at the end of the trip to the grocery store, as Laura said, see see objectively, how you performed, and think about, the ability to nudge behaviors based on that actual personalized feedback. I mean, that's really a game changer in my view. So as I mentioned, after each trip, you get to see the hard braking, the speeding, the acceleration events, how often you're touching your phone while driving, among other things. And, this service gives our customers a really unique and objective view into how they can improve their driving in real time. And as parents as well, and this is a really critical piece, they can also help monitor their teen drivers and help them improve on driving as well. So it's a real value add, I think, to families for consumers. And then I'd say, there's a financial incentive as well. So our core telematics offering IntelliDrive offers you up to 10% enrollment discount for your first term. So right when you sign up, there's automatically a financial incentive. And then at your first renewal, whether that's 6 months or 12 months, safe drivers can earn up to 30% savings based on their driving behavior data that we collect, while riskier drivers could see up to 30% surcharge through the program. So it's really a big financial incentive, both for customers and agents. And then we couple this personalized feedback with our thought leadership content. So we do in-person university tour events. We do webinars that are open to our business partners and the broader public, social media, publications, you name it, where you get to actually connect with Travelers leaders across our company and hear directly from us in a very personal way as to what we're seeing, and our partners as well. So I think there's a really nice combination there.
Okay. And how does the campaign benefit your customers, agents, brokers?
Yeah, I really view it as a win-win. Our customers can earn more attractive insurance rates for safer driving. And I think this is really important. They get more control and transparency over their insurance policies and premiums, right? So they can see it and interact with it in real time, which is something new when you think historically about, an insurance policy. For our network of business partners, our independent insurance agents and brokers, it allows them to have really a truly competitive and sustainable and unique offering for their clients. And we're also helping to provide education to them through that outreach, through those webinars, and making sure they're up to date on the latest around telematics programs. And for insurance carriers like Travelers, it helps us much better match the price that we charge with the risk associated with the coverage that we're providing to our customers. and also allowing them, as I mentioned, to engage with insurers like they really haven't been able to in the past. And that's, really all layered on top of the fact of, that we are nudging safer driving behaviors, which, that benefit really could not be understated. And one stat here, as we've introduced our distraction rating as a mechanism in our telematics program with CMT, coupled with that education content that you can also get right in app, we've seen nearly a 20% reduction in distracted driving trips among our IntelliDrive customers. So I think that really speaks very loudly as to the safety benefit, and that's something that we're really proud of.
Okay. And what kind of technologies do you use to serve, your customers through this initiative? How do you see your program also potentially evolving in the future with new and disparate technologies?
Yeah. So as Jessica mentioned, the IntelliDrive and the IntelliDrive Plus program run on the CMT technology. And so at the base level, we are measuring the ABCDs of driving: acceleration, braking, cornering, and distraction. And those are really leading to kind of usage-based insurance programs and services. And that feedback that we give to drivers allows them to understand how they are driving based on those metrics. But as I really think about the next phase of our technology and where we're leading, it is going into crash assistance and claims automation. And let me talk a little bit about a crash assist, because I think it's really exciting, and it is something that Travelers has already adopted and is on the forefront of using with their customers. But it really changes the relationship with the insurer, because if you are in a crash, they will know immediately. And if it based on the severity of that crash, they can send you help right away. And so that help can be everything from emergency services all the way to a wellness check or a phone call to check in on you to make sure that you're okay. And so instead of getting into an accident and having to call, so maybe the last time you or a loved one was in an accident, hours later, a few days later, you have to make, that phone call to your insurer. Now, the insurer is really taking care of you, and that peace of mind and the peace of mind that it gives individuals, parents, when their teens are in the car, all of those different things really, really matter. We've heard some incredible stories, like there was a person who was in a crash, was unconscious, and as the EMT goes and, cuts up their jeans because they need to, take care of the person, they realize that they have a phone in their pocket, and it is the phone in their pocket which really saved their lives. And so making sure that we're using technology for good and really helping people is really, really critical. In terms of the claims automation piece, is when you're in a crash, we can collect a ton of data and information. And so when we can pre-fill that information into that claims process and really kick it off digitally, it just makes all that information flow much faster with less errors, and it provides an incredible customer experience. And so that customer experience and using technology, again, for good and driving efficiencies, means that you can get back on the road faster. And so for companies like Travelers, that's really critical in terms of providing the best possible experience.
Okay. And when you look at, partnerships, they're a big area of interest from our brand community. We actually have a working group that meets every 2 months and talks about partnerships, how to get them right, how to integrate them in the short term, long term, how do they market them. So when you look at partnerships for the Travelers Institute partners, how do you look at them? How do you make them work for both entities?
Yeah, so I think, where I sit at the Travelers Institute, I mentioned we're the public policy division, and, our main mission is to bring to light different public policy issues where we can, lend our voice and leverage our expertise, and partnerships are really core at that mission, right in the center. So I spend most of my days connecting with thought leaders across government, academia, and industry, and trying to bring together different voices. I think, thought leadership is a very powerful way to engage your customers and your clients and the communities where you do business. And, we like to bring together different perspectives. So we have a webinar series that we started since the pandemic, where we talk about all different issues that are important to our agents and brokers and our customers. And we have partnerships with government agencies and government officials who come on and share their perspectives. And I think, being a convener of those different perspectives and adding that value back and really building that relationship with your customers and the communities you serve is a really powerful tool. And I'd say, one obvious example here is just our partnership with CMT. I think that's a really good one just to point out as we're thinking about partnerships here. Clearly, we've got a powerful partnership through our telematics program, but we've really been able to leverage it, much farther beyond the product offering directly to our customers. So we've really partnered with CMT to provide thought leadership on auto safety and roadway safety, and to really understand, how some of these technologies are changing the game when it comes to, frankly, saving people's lives on our roads. So last year, Ryan McMahon from CMT joined me on a webinar for thousands of our business partners, our agents and brokers, as well as our customers, to talk about telematics and trends and distraction, and a lot of the same things that we just heard from Laura today, and really to help our business partners understand the technology, to help our customers understand the risks, and to provide that educational opportunity. And then in addition, we partnered again just before the Thanksgiving holiday last year. So this is a time, right, when traditionally American families are on the road going to see family. So there's a lot of news stories about mashed potato recipes and fun things like that going into the holiday. But we said, we really want this safety message to be in the mix. So we did a national media tour. We released an educational guide. We did a full communications campaign, and we reached 130 million people in the lead up to the Thanksgiving driving season, which we're just incredibly proud of, to get the message out about distracted driving. So that was something that I think is really powerful and shows how we can work together in many ways to incorporate thought leadership and help save lives.
Okay. There's a great deal of discussion within our community as well regarding how customers may be changing. Going through COVID, there were significant changes from a retail or travel and entertainment perspective, and insurance as well. How are your Customers and Travelers Institute changing, and how did you pivot to address the challenges and or opportunities that those changes may have put forth?
Yeah, absolutely. I can speak to that from the traveler side, and then Laura, I don't know if you want to tag on as well, but I think a major shift we've seen from our customers and agents since the pandemic is really just their willingness for technology adoption and willingness to participate in these telematics programs. So, we've seen a substantial increase in broad consumer adoption of telematics, as well as enrolled policies placed by our independent insurance agents and brokers. And what that tells us is that customer interest and agent engagement in telematics is just certainly increasing. And I think there's a lot of runway there. I mentioned also the webinar series that we stood up right after the pandemic. It's called Wednesdays with Woodward. It's named for our host and president of the Travelers Institute, Joan Woodward. So this is something that we host, once a week, and all of our networks are, free to join. And it's, we've really seen that our networks are looking for opportunities to learn about the business. They want to stay connected. They want to know about the economy that we're operating in, how to develop themselves and their teams, how to stay ahead of the game when it comes to this business. So it's been a really nice formula where we bring our senior leaders from Travelers and partnered with external speakers to share the latest and greatest on trends that are affecting their business. And auto safety has been a huge, I'd say, key pillar within that series. We've had nearly 200,000 views by our business partners of our webinar programming. And so this is something that's accessible to folks all across the US. And it's open to the public as well. You can actually, anyone listening can join in. If you go to www.travelersinstitute.org, you can check out our upcoming programs. And it's all about the intersection of business, insurance, and public policy. We've had recent guests, including the Minneapolis Federal Reserve President, Neil Kashkari, talking about the economy and interest rates. We also hosted our own data and analytics leaders here at Travelers, talking about ChatGPT and what emerging AI technologies mean for our businesses. we are thrilled to have thousands of people dial in every week, and we're thrilled to be adding that value back to our business partners.
Okay. Well, that was very interesting. Seems like you have a great deal of a kind of a perspective on the customers. Did Laura, did you have anything else to add?
I guess just one quick piece of information from COVID is that during COVID, roads really opened up. There was less traffic and people were driving very fast. And what we've seen is since we've kind of are coming out of COVID and things are coming back to normal and people are commuting again, people are still driving very fast and they're driving even more distracted than before. And so I would say that at CMT, we are even more committed to working with partners to make the roads and drivers safer globally. And so we are, I think, feeling the urgency of making sure that we're helping people understand how deadly distracted driving can become and is.
As a quick follow-up to Jessica, or maybe even Laura, communication is very key. Personalized communication for the audiences, for all brands. But when you look at someone who may be driving distracted, how do you kind of tell them in a kind of a subtle, honest, impactful way that can enhance or their behavior in a positive manner that you may be driving distracted, you may want to kind of change your behavior? Is that something you guys do, and if so, how do you do that? Because that can be a very challenging discussion for brands, right? If they've not made a certain tier, or they've changed their behavior, or something maybe negative may have happened with them, how do you do that in a way that can drive that behavior that you're looking for?
So there's a couple different techniques, and different partners will kind of approach that challenge differently. But we see gamification as a really important way of driving engagement. And so understanding how your score is changing and so based on kind of how that score is calculated, based on the amount of distracting events you have, the number of harsh breaks that you have, can affect that driving score. And again, it can run for 2 weeks, it could run for 30 days. There's different ways that we work with our partners to really identify best practices. And then we also focus on behavior modification. And so we have a product called hard braking alerts. And so literally when you hard brake, mathematically, when we are able to calculate when you are pressing on the brakes too hard, then you will get an audio cue that you've just hard braked. And so real-time feedback has been important in helping people learn how to drive better. And that is leading to increased safety and better driving.
Wow. That's great.
And I'll just, I echo everything Laura just said, and I'll just add one other thing just from the education side that we've really honed in on and has been shown through some of our research is the power of influence that you have over your friends and family. So if you are a passenger in a car and you speak up when you see someone driving distracted, they're much less likely to stop driving distracted than if you hadn't said anything. So I think the real-time feedback is critical and it's key, and the technology is enabling so much of this. And then I think on the other side, we've been trying to hit the message home of kids speaking up to parents, friends speaking up to friends, and everyone kind of feeling this responsibility to get into the mix here, and hopefully just changing the culture around distraction as well, and making it something that making it into something that you wouldn't be proud to do in front of your friends and family.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jessica and Laura, for the very interesting discussion regarding not only travelers, but how CMT is helping other entities, from a technology and trends perspective, to address safety hazards that may exist. I think it's very interesting how you guys are looking at it, how you assess it, and how you are bringing it to market. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone else for taking the time to listen today. Make sure you join us back for another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series soon. Have a wonderful day.